Ready? All right, thanks everyone for joining. My name is Jeff Medford, and I'm a Senior Product Manager in the Technical Marketing team for Microsoft Office Division. And we are going to kick it off with choosing the right cloud service this morning. And I am from Office, so my bias is a little bit towards Office 365 when it comes to choosing the right service. And I also have Danny here, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey there, I'm Danny Burlich. I'm from a company called Wortel in Holland. I'm an Office 365 MVP, and I'll be doing some demos.
Perfect. So we're going to walk through, just to set it up right up front, we're going to walk through the various SKUs and plans and scenarios and things with Office 365 that sometimes probably confuse a lot of people, from maybe our website that has 1,000 comparisons of plans to what it really is to package up SharePoint, Link, Exchange, Office, and which one might work best for you. So if you're an Office 365 customer, some of this might be review for you. But if you're looking into Office 365, we've found from our previous Tech Ready sessions that this has been really helpful. So anyone here an Office 365 customer today? Got one in the front. Anyone looking at Office 365? A few? All right, good. Good. You're in the right spot. So we'll take questions at the end, but if there's something urgent while we're speaking, it's a small enough crowd here, please just raise your hand and we'll work through it. So we're going to do a bunch of explanation and then just step through some demonstrations that take us from small business to medium to enterprise and kind of show the scale up of features from that perspective. But first, I just want to level set and make sure everyone knows what we're talking about here. Office 365 is the new version of Office. It's the new version of services, and it's delivering Office as a service across the workloads that you might be used to from an Exchange, SharePoint, or Link perspective that you could do in a data center, on premises, in the cloud. But it's also adding in Office as a subscription. And so all of those pieces together are under the umbrella of Office 365. So you see here it's Office, Exchange, SharePoint, Link, and Yammer, all under the umbrella of Office 365. All enterprise grade with support, with service level accountabilities from Microsoft's perspective. And really what we're going to dig into is that service plans for everyone. And when I say service plans for everyone, we mean it as a tagline, but when you kind of dig into it, it might look like a lot of different types of plans that we'll get into and try to simplify what we're talking about today. So what Microsoft Office 365 has been built from the ground up to be an enterprise-grade platform. And so two of the main design goals and really what we focus from the Office 365 perspective is comprehensive tools to do your best work across multiple devices. And hopefully you heard last week with the release of Office on iOS, on the iPhone, being able to interact with Office, be able to edit PowerPoint, Word, Excel from an iPhone. That was a big piece of moving forward across devices from the Office side. And what you'll notice is that's only available for Office 365 customers. So utilizing the service to be able to drive applications across various platforms, that's critical for us, and it's a big part of what we're doing from a cloud perspective. And on the right-hand side, I've said it a bunch of times already, but enterprise grade, we have consumer services like SkyDrive, like doing Office web apps as a consumer. We have Outlook.com, and those are all into themselves the consumer side of the business. Office 365 didn't kind of take the consumer stuff and move it into the enterprise. We're taking the core infrastructure, and hopefully you were here for Alistair's session yesterday, the Inside Office 365, really talking about how we deliver these huge platforms from a mailbox perspective with tens and hundreds of millions of mailboxes, from an enterprise side out to all of our customers. And that's the huge part of the design goal, is to always start enterprise, be able to deliver SLAs, huge mailboxes, management controls, and you'll see some of it in the demonstration, out to our customers. And then again, across all of the kind of emerging pieces of what we want to touch on, with making sense of it all, dynamic workplaces, natural expression, responsible organizations. So all of those wrap into the value side of Office 365. And when we talk about our investment from an Office and perspective for the new Office and some of the core business value, and these are what you'll see when you're on our websites, when you're looking up what Office 365 is all about, and hopefully as you talk to Microsoft partners or Microsoft salespeople, it really comes down to these four key pillars, and it's devices, cloud, social, and control. And each one of these is core to the experience of the new Office. So from a devices perspective, I already touched on this a little bit with iOS and iPhone experiences, but it truly is the core piece of how we're investing in Office to allow experiences across all your devices. Being able to have the fast and fluid, whether it's a pen, whether it's touch, whether you're at a desktop with multiple screens and simply using a keyboard and mouse, giving the opportunity to have a great experience no matter what device you're on. Immersive touch optimized applications like OneNote, Link, all part of the Windows App Store. And you can see some of the design changes we've been doing there from an Office perspective to really go from the immersive side, pure touch, pure tablet experience. And then again, support across all the multiple devices with Exchange ActiveSync, with apps that are built across these platforms, Link and OneNote being kind of the forerunners of Android support, iPhone support, and even going across the Windows Store. Mixing those devices and being able to connect to your applications really then comes to the cloud side. And the cloud is the ability for us to deliver those experiences no matter where you are, and also have you licensed properly across all those devices. So Office as a cloud service, being able to implement as a desktop application, as an on-demand application, or through Office web apps. And really this new cloud app model, and hopefully you're seeing a lot of that from partners today and some of the sessions in this hallway, is being able to develop and consume applications through the cloud, whether it's through SharePoint or whether it's through Office and some of the integration points we have with pure Office applications. And then we move into social. And I want to just take a second and talk, you see a lot of product names. We always have a lot of product names as we go. But a key core investment of social from the Office perspective is that social is pervasive across the entire stack. So if you're in Outlook, if you're in Word, if you're on SharePoint, if you're on Yammer, that it's not a place to go and be social, but that there's social context, whether you're editing a file with someone else, whether you're uploading it and sharing it through SkyDrive Pro, that the social capabilities flow throughout Office and is really pervasive. And that's the core to this experience from a social enterprise perspective. And then also linking that in with Link and multi-HD video, voice, PC-to-PC audio, and bringing in the social capability of actually connecting with someone no matter where they are in the world, seeing their face, hearing their voice, and being able to collaborate on documents directly through Link. So we see that as all of the different applications working together and not just a place to go post a feed or give a status update, but having that actually flow throughout the Office applications so that you can continue to be very productive as you work with your team. And then as almost all IT pros always talk to me about is control. And one of the things from a cloud perspective that we have gotten question after question for the last 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this is always about control. Can I control the environment like I do today? Are there extra features that I will get from a control perspective if I move to the cloud? And so that is a core component of Office 365. It's really about reimagining deployment and control from an Office pure client application perspective, putting that in your hands and allowing you to deploy to all of your users, all of your seats across devices. It's about having the control from an authentication perspective, because as people bring devices into the office and you have to manage them as an IT pro, being able to control down that authentication, login information, et cetera. So it spans the entire environment all the way to Exchange and really getting into the core administration of Exchange. And hopefully if you've gone to some of the Exchange labs or some of the Exchange sessions, and you've seen some of the Office 365 pieces, it's all the same interface. So giving you the same control no matter if you're doing it on premises or if you're doing it online, it looks and feels and acts the exact same from an Exchange perspective. So all of these pieces kind of roll in to Office 365 and then bring us into the actual, okay, so this is always the big question. Office as a service, the number one question at the booth today and every day for the last couple months is, do I still get Office with Office 365? Do I still install it on the desktop? Yes. So Office 365 Pro Plus is a desktop application. You can package it, you can deploy it, you can control it from an IT pro perspective, or you can have users deployed across multiple different devices, laptops, PCs, or Macs. Office as a service is still a desktop application, offline access, save your files wherever you want. But what we allow from an Office 365 perspective is that you can have that across multiple devices, and it's tied to you as a user. So instead of a device license, okay, I go use Office on this computer, and I have to have another copy over here that I'm licensed, it truly becomes a user perspective. All of your recent files, all of the things that you've done within Office or SkyDrive Pro follows you across those devices. And that's really what Office 365 brings to that traditional desktop client, is a cloud-aware scenario that you can be authenticated, you can be licensed, and you can share and use files across multiple experiences. So Office is still a desktop application. You still deploy it. There are some deployment sessions that I have posted at the end that will really help you understand deploying click-to-run Office at a very deep level if you'd like to go deep on that. So then we move from, okay, overall cloud investments, the new Office, what are we doing from the Office 365 side, down to the actual pillars of investments, control, into the plans. And what does it really mean? Because hopefully in the last year or so, you've heard a lot about Office 365. You've heard a lot about Office Home Premium or for students, or maybe you went into a retail store and you saw there's a box with nothing in it. It says Office 365. There's nothing in the box. No DVDs. That's a big leap for us. That's a big leap for our customers going in and purchasing retail Office. And that's where it starts at the far end with Office 365 Home Premium. That is a copy of Office, typically at retailers, and you simply go buy a key code, and then you can install as a home user Office across a bunch of devices. And if you come to our booth, we have those key codes. They're not in the pretty boxes. Well, there's some boxes, but you simply have a card with a key code. You now have a 1-year subscription of Office 365.
So Jeff, we're actually giving away one of those Office 365 year subscriptions for the person who asked the best question.
Oh, good. Good. You brought it.
Sorry.
I'm happy. No. So we'll go towards the end, and you'll see how that works, and we'll ask a question and see who can get their hand up the quickest. So it starts at the consumer side, and it is one of the fastest growing businesses within Microsoft ever to reach 1 million purchases. And that was in the first 6 weeks or so. So the Office Home Premium, we really pushed the market. No more DVDs, really an online scenario. And we've seen a huge amount of success from the consumer side. And we move over from the consumer side into education, where it really starts to mix consumers, students, faculty. And we have plans for education so that faculty can be licensed for the full suite of products. Students can have SharePoint and Exchange. So there are plans within education that really fit from a market perspective. And then we have moving over to that 1 to 10 small business. Office 365 Small Business Premium it includes Office, it includes Exchange, it includes SharePoint. In this scenario, and we'll get in a little more in depth, is really for that very small business. Someone who doesn't have IT support, someone who simply wants to have Office and email and some of the kind of generic terms of sharing documents. Then we move into mid-sized business. Mid-sized business starts to add features on top of capabilities for administration and flexibility. And then all the way over to the enterprise and government. And that is from an advanced IT needs. It gives you the full control, whether you're a partner or a customer, of your administration experience, Active Directory, all the good stuff that we'll get into as we go through. So from the spectrum of where Office 365 sits, it's across the entire board for how Microsoft delivers to our customers, from consumer, education, small business, to more advanced IT needs. And I took a screenshot of our website, which is, I'm on the marketing team, and I can't change this, but I try every day. But this is what it looks like when you think of the pricing schedule, the way it lays out. I highlighted here that these plans that are per user per month include Office Desktop, not some frilly, fake online version of Office that people kind of assume when you think of an online service. Real Office, real applications on your desktop are across the board here. So you can see from a scale perspective how it actually kind of moves through the stack. And obviously this is MSRP. With EA customers, volume licensing, open licensing, we have a ton of different options as far as the pricing mechanism. But this is what it looks like straight off the website in dollars as we go through. So I just wanted to show a screen of that because this is kind of what we put our customers through when we say, hey, learn about Office 365. Wow, this is what you get. So we'll go into these a little bit more in depth. And I'll start with what I started on the far end, the Home Premium. What actually comes with Home Premium? This is consumer. This is not what you would buy for your enterprise. It's Office. And you can put it on 5 or more PCs. You can have different accounts within your family. This is the version that you go to the store, pick it up, or it comes with your PC with your key code. It comes with Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, all the standard, actually all the professional Office applications. Comes with SkyDrive, the consumer version, extra storage, and 60 minutes of Skype. We purchased Skype a couple of years ago, and you're starting to see Skype integrated into all of our products and now our offers. So when it comes to, as a consumer, you can get minutes of Skype as part of your Office purchase. So that starts at that far end with Home Premium. We move into the education side, and you see here it's cloud-based email, shared calendars, HD video conferencing, the ability to have SharePoint sites that students and teachers can upload and share documents. And really the tagline over on the left-hand side is for staff, faculty, and students, integrating them into the same solution. We have had an EDU play for a really long time, starting with Hotmail, Live at EDU, and then now everything is moving to Office 365. So from an EDU perspective, it is now all under one umbrella from an Office 365 infrastructure, commerce platform, everything from the features and capabilities. And that takes us to the in-depth look at what that small business premium looks like. It includes Office. So Office as a subscription, pay it for month by month, have it installed on your desktop, and be able to work with all the applications. And from a small business perspective, it's very easy to use, and we're going to get into a demonstration in a minute. But it includes those same key features: shared calendars, shared mailboxes, being able to have the 25 gig mailbox all backed up with disaster recovery in the cloud, run out of the Microsoft data centers, team site, and then a public website. From a small business perspective, a lot of small businesses have talked to us and said, hey, I need a place where my website looks professional, I have a professional presence, use my own domain. You can bring that all in to the small business premium with all of the email, SharePoint, and those capabilities to share with SkyDrive Pro, but for a really affordable price for a small business with a very kind of streamlined admin interface. So I talked for a lot there. We've made our way up to Small Business Premium. Danny's now going to show what it looks like, how it feels to the end user, so you can get a feel for how we start at that small business piece. So thank you. And go ahead, Danny.
All right. So in order to start off your Office 365 experience, what you'll do is you'll go to a website which is called www.office365.com, and it'll take you to a website in your own language, depending on your browser. So it'll take you to this website, and from here on, you can start your Office 365 subscription. If you're a medium business, larger enterprise, or maybe an educational organization, you'll probably go through your license reseller, who will sell you the licenses. But if you want to purchase through the web, that's also possible. So from here, you'll go into the options for businesses, and from there on, you can choose whatever version you want. So you can choose the small business version, the mid-sized business version, or the enterprise business version. I'll go over and select small business, learn more. And you'll get the different options which are included in the small business plan. You can watch a small video and walk over all the different versions and capabilities which are in the platform. So remember, the small business version is targeted at smaller organizations. So there's a hard cap at 25 users, but we targeted it at 1 to 10 users probably. As soon as you sign up, you can either try it now. It'll give you a 30-day evaluation version for free. You don't need any credit cards or anything. You just sign up and you get a trial version, which is what I'm going to demo right now. So I've already signed up to quicken the process, and I'm ready to log in, basically. In order to do that, I'll go to a website which is called portal.microsoftonline.com. And portal.microsoftonline.com is actually your management environment for both end users, where they can start their different services, and for administrators. Depending on the role of a specific person, they'll see either the management capabilities or the end user functionality. So I'll sign up, or I'll sign in. 2013 small dot.
Question while he's doing this.
Oh yes, actually, when he was talking, I was starting up this website, and I got my website in Dutch. I'm Dutch. But it's dependent on your browser version, basically. So as soon as your browser version is set to German or French or whatever language or whatever country you're from, it'll present you all these screens in English. Yeah. So I put in my administrative name, which is admin at te2013s.microsoft.com, and my password, and I'll hit the sign in button. Typically, end users will remember their password. So as soon as they hit this button, they will be signed in, or as soon as they hit this site, they will be signed in to the service. So remember, the small business version is targeted towards smaller organization. So the entire management environment has been customized to meet small business needs. It's been really simplified in a manner that even non-IT people can manage their online cloud service. So when the administrator logs into the service, they can start off with different basic options or different getting started options, and from there on manage their environment. So the getting started options really are the basic setup options which you'll need to do in order to get your service up and running. First of all, probably you noticed that I logged in with a domain name which was called te2013s.onmicrosoft.com, which is a pretty long domain name. Actually, it's my domain name for this entire service. So as soon as somebody wants to send me an email, they'll need to type in admin at the entire domain name. So I want to change that towards my company domain name. In order to do that, I'll click email address, and from here on I can put in my domain name, which is wortel.nl. I need to confirm that I actually own this domain name, or I can choose another domain name as well, of course. And I'll need to own it with my DNS provider. So for instance, if I'm in GoDaddy, I'll select GoDaddy as a DNS register. I'll hit next, and it'll take me towards all the steps, or through all the steps which are needed to register my domain name with Office 365. From there on, I can change the login name of all my users and their email addresses connected to it. It's not limited at one domain name. You can actually put in as many domain names as you want, or almost as many domain names as you want. So I'll cancel this. And I'll close this. Yes, I want to skip it. I will not walk through the entire process with you. It takes about 20 minutes. It says 45 minutes, but it takes about 20 minutes. You'll need to log in with your register and put in all the different options. So the second option is collaboration. If you go into collaboration, you get various walkthroughs of all the capabilities or all the functionalities which you get with your SharePoint Online environment. So in order to start sites and manage your documents, etc. So first of all, if I go over to SkyDrive Pro and the team sites, it will take me towards this stepping plan where I can find out where all the different links are. So for instance, SkyDrive above here gives me the possibility to upload my personal documents. It's kind of a My Documents replacement on your own personal computer. So the next one is Sites. And Sites is where you can actually start your sites, where you can collaborate with either your peers within the company, but also invite third parties over to collaborate with you on specific projects or documents. If we go over to the newsfeed is actually the social capability within the Office 365 environment online, next to all the capabilities which are in the different single projects. From there on, you'll get a Jammer type of site or a Facebook type of site where you can start your own newsfeed and reply to other people and start discussing all sorts of subjects. If you go over to SkyDrive Pro, it'll give you a walkthrough of all the capabilities which are in SkyDrive Pro and how users can actually use this service. This is kind of a real simple explanation about what people can do with all the different products and with all the different capabilities in there. Included in the small business plan, but also in the mid-sized business plan and the enterprise plan, is the possibility to create your own website on the surface. It's a basic website. It's perfect for small businesses. If you're a large enterprise, you will not use Office 365 for your main website. So it's really targeted towards small businesses. So in order to start my website, basically I need to navigate towards my sites page up here, and from here on I can go to my public websites and start customizing that. So I'll show you what this looks like. I'll hit Sites, which takes me to a overview of all the sites in my organization. And from here on, I'll click Public Site. I can actually start working on my website. So we've included a basic website which you can customize according to your own personal needs. So I'll need to sign in order to start customizing. All right, and from here on, I can actually change the different pages, add new pages, change the layout, add my logo, add all sorts of information regarding my own company. Again, please note that this is a really cool capability for smaller organizations. If you want your enterprise website on here, a big website on here, for instance, you'll probably choose your own or a different option. I'll go back to the administration center. And the last option is the option to download software. Within Office 365, the Office web apps are included. The Office web apps are the capability to create your own documents, work with other people on documents in the browser. Next to that, you are able to download your software and work from your own personal desktop if you want. So you don't need an internet connection to actually start working. It's a complete version of Office. So I've hit the button, and from here on, I'll get three options. Set up your software, go mobile, and get your team set up. So if I click Set up your software, I'll get the capability or the possibility to download Office Pro Plus into my computer. So downloading Office Pro Plus into my computer, it's about 1.2 gigabytes, which typically takes a long time. But because Office has been virtualized, basically you can start working within a couple of minutes as soon as you hit the download button. And it will keep on downloading all the other software components in the background, but you can actually start working on Word or Excel or PowerPoint or whatever version you would like.
And this is highlighted in the Click to Run session, which is, I think, later tomorrow or the next day, and we'll have that at the end. But Click to Run is the new technology that allows us to deliver Office as that service. And as Danny said, you can start using features almost immediately as the rest of Office is implementing in the background. And that's called Click to Run, and there's a couple sessions about the deployment of that. But that sets up your software on your desktop. We just virtualized it and stream it in a way that allows you to start using it immediately. So,
all right, so in order to install my software, I'll first choose my language. I can change that later on. The language in which I want to download my software. I'll choose the version, and I'll actually click Install. So right now, I've got a version of Office installed on my computer, so I will not do this. But if you try it at home, and if you start up your own trial tenant, and if you start downloading your software, it'll be there in a couple of minutes. Please remember, it's the full version of Office installed on your personal computer. One of the great things is that users get 5 copies of Office. So every user gets 5 devices on which they can use Office. Not only their desktop PC in the office, but also their laptop and their home computer and their home laptop, etc. Yes, sir? So your question is if people get 5 versions for Project and Visio as well. So Project and Visio are not included in the small business plan. You can purchase them as separate services in the enterprise plan. Is it 5 versions?
you know what? I don't believe so, but let me table that and I'll answer it later. Yeah, I'll check with another person.
All right. So next to the full version of Office, you can also start downloading the apps for OneNote and Link. So the apps for OneNote and Link are actually targeted towards Windows 8 computers from this page. So you can start downloading the OneNote app or the Link app. So I'll skip this for a moment. The second possibility is to go mobile and actually start working with your mobile phones or your tablets and download the apps for these different devices right from your Office 365 portal. So in order to do that, first you'll choose what kind of phone you're actually using. So let's use the Windows Phone. I'll switch over to the iPhone later on. And from here on, as soon as I choose a specific phone, it'll give me all the different apps which are available for a specific platform. So if I choose the Windows Phone, I can go mobile with my Office apps on the mobile, OneNote and the Outlook version, which are already available on my Windows Mobile. And I can also start downloading the other apps, so Link and SharePoint. If I choose iPhone, for instance, it'll give me the same apps which are available targeted towards an iPhone. So the Office apps have already been launched for the iPhone. It's not on this page yet. It's been very, very recent, a couple of days. So they'll update this page pretty soon, I guess. So for an end user, if they want to install an app, what they'll basically do is they'll hit Get Apps, and you'll be able to put in your mobile number, and actually an SMS will be sent towards the end user with a link where they can download all these different apps for their mobile. Of course, the apps are in the store, so they can download them from the store as well, but this is just to make it a little bit simpler. I'll finish this off, and I'll go back to the admin portal. Save for later. Here at the bottom of the administration page are the possibilities introduced to actually manage the small business service. And again, it's targeted towards smaller organizations. So the management capabilities are really simple to understand for basically everybody within an organization or the administrator within an organization. First, I can change the service settings. And the most important service settings are being displayed here over a few different options. So regarding email, calendar, and contacts, I can actually allow or disallow people to share their calendar with other people outside of the organization. So I'll demo that later on. As soon as I want to work with, for instance, suppliers or other people, I can share my calendar. And this is the way to either allow it or deny it for the entire organization. Next to that, I can use services, apps, in my Office components, which I can actually use to get specific data, and I can specify if I will allow people to get in their LinkedIn contacts. Within sites and document sharing, I have about the same options. So first of all, I can manage the public website. I can turn external sharing on or off. And external sharing lets me work with people outside of my organization. So in the small business plan, I can invite a couple of people who can actually work with me on documents. In the enterprise plan, it's about 10,000 people, which I can invite in my SharePoint portal. Site creation lets end users create their own sites, and external services specifies if we can use apps or not. Within IM and conferencing, I can specify a couple of options regarding link, and over here I can actually put in a dial-in conferencing provider. This is available within the enterprise and the mid-sized SKUs as well. Here it is presented a little bit simpler. So actually, when I'm on Office 365 and I'm using Link, and I want other users, as soon as I start a Link conference, to dial into this conference and not use the Link browser, I can actually give them a direct number. In Holland, it will probably be a 0800 number. So I'll need to set up this service with a telephony provider, and from there on, they will get a number and can dial in. I can manage my online presence, external communications, and I can specify if we'll let people record their meetings or not. With mobile access, I can do some basic setup for mobiles. So I can basically manage how people use their own device, and if they need to set up a PIN code or other security settings on these different devices. So I'll require a password, and I'll allow a simple password, which is, for instance, 1111. Next to that, I can specify the minimum number of characters needed to sign in to your mobile device, and I can specify if we want devices to be wiped after somebody has actually put in a password for a wrong password for a couple of times. Next to that, I can lock the phone right from there. One of the things which you can also manage is how many times or how often people need to change their password. So if we want it really to be secure, we'll put it to 30 days. The basic setting is 730 days. So I'll go back to the service settings. And again, it's a small business is targeted towards smaller organizations. So there's a limit, a hard cap of 25 users. And the sweet spot is 1 to 10 users. So you'll manage your users right from the website, right from the portal. You will not be able to manage your users through automated tooling or through CSV files, etc. So you will have to create a user by going through this Create a User wizard. In order to do that, you'll click the plus sign, you'll walk through this wizard, you'll specify their settings, their licenses, and from there on, you've created a new user in your site that can actually consume all the different services. I can create my contacts from here, my groups, and my shared mailboxes. So shared mailboxes is a really cool feature which allow multiple people to access one and the same shared mailbox, for instance, an info app mailbox, and they're actually for free. So you'll get a 5 gigabyte mailbox for free in all the different services. On the top, there's the different end-user services, which is basically Outlook, Calendar, People, Newsfeed, SkyDrive, and Sites, which is Exchange, Link, and SharePoint, basically. These services are the same through all the different plans, or they're basically the same in the different plans, and there's a little bit of variation between the capabilities. For small business, it's the basic capabilities. For enterprises, it's more advanced capabilities in there. So if we take a look at all the new services, and again, this looks the same in the small business plan as the mid-size plan or the enterprise plan, it'll take me towards the Outlook web app. The Outlook web app basically is there for every user that does not want to use Exchange or Outlook on their client, or users that do not want to use their mobile phones. So the Exchange web app, I'll dismiss this. The Exchange web app has really been cleaned up. It's a really simplified or a really clean experience for users who want to manage their email through the browser. From here on, I can start my new emails, I can read through my different emails, I can go towards my different folders, I can actually reply or work with my different emails. One of the settings I personally love is offline, Outlook web app offline, which is the capability to get my Outlook web app without an internet connection. I'll need to set it up, so I'll click Offline Settings, and I'll turn on Offline Access. It'll start synchronizing a version of the Outlook web app towards my local computer. This is available across all the different plans. I'll hit Cancel for now. And another one is the possibility to manage my apps. Yes, sir?
If you've got a full version of Outlook on your actual machine, will it sync to the full version Outlook?
No, the version which is actually being synced from the Outlook web app towards your local computer is a separate version from your Outlook version. So the Outlook web app offline synchronization option actually is targeted towards users who do not have Outlook installed on their computers. Yeah. So right from the service, I can manage my apps. New in Office 365 is the capability or the possibility to purchase apps through a store or create your own apps which provide all these new capabilities in the Office plan. So for instance, in the Outlook web app, if somebody sends me an email with an address included in it, I will see a map of the location of this specific address. Within Excel, I can have my task panes or specific apps which, for instance, show a map or show different information which is important for my organization. So from here on, an end user or an administrator can actually add apps to Outlook which provide all sorts of services like CRM services or whatever. And again, you can create your own apps which, for instance, give information regarding your business data or connect to your CRM service. So you can browse through the Office store, select an app. Most apps are free, but there are also some apps which are being charged for, and add them to your Outlook web app environment. So I will not do that at this moment. One of the versions that a lot of my customers, small business customers, use is actually connected accounts. So if I go over to Settings and I hit Connected Accounts, I can actually connect, for instance, a Hotmail or a Gmail or an SMTP or a POP mailbox in my Outlook web app or in my Exchange Online version. I can download all that information right from the same email box. I can actually specify the default reply yes address. So for instance, if I wanted to add my live.com email address, what I'll do is I'll add my email address, I'll add my password. Oh, I think I made a mistake, but we'll see. And what it will do is it will connect my Office 365 email account right through all these different email services, so I can manage all my email right from the same environment. It'll synchronize my email right now in the back, and right here under default reply address, I can specify what my default reply address will be with all these connected accounts. So remember, you'll get a 25 gigabyte mailbox. So for most users, that'll be enough to manage all their different mailboxes. In some occasions, it's not, and then you'll need to go over to either the mid-size plan or the enterprise plan. Within the calendar, I can manage my own calendar. It's basically Outlook from the browser, and it's the new version of Outlook from the browser. Right here, I can create my new meetings or manage the meetings that have already been created. But one of the options I personally like is Share. So you all probably know that if you want to set up a meeting with somebody else outside of the organization, sometimes it's really hard to find a perfect spot. And for me, I share my calendar, for instance, with some of my customers, but also with my wife, so she can actually, find out where I'm at what specific moment. So in order to do this, I'll hit the Share button. And right here, all the emails coming in from my connected account. Right here, I can specify an email address. So the user who I want to share my Outlook account with. I can add a subject, and I can choose the calendar which I want to share. So I can create multiple calendars, and here I can choose what kind of calendar I want to share. The specific person whom you're sharing a calendar with will get an email, and from there on, they can add it towards their Outlook client. People basically specify all the contacts within your organization. So what I've done, I have not put in all these different contacts, but I've connected my LinkedIn environment. I could have also connected my Facebook environment, and it will start downloading all my LinkedIn contacts. with all the information in LinkedIn next to my company contacts. So from here on, I can manage all my different LinkedIn contacts and actually work with them on specific projects. Newsfeed is the basic, is the social capability within Office 365. From here on, I'll get a wall where I can start new microblogs, and people can actually respond to my own personal microblogs. I can not only add text, but also video, for instance. Check this out. And I'll go over to YouTube. YouTube.com. And let's select a video. All right, I'll select the video. And from here on, I'll select the share button, copy. I'll paste this in my microblog, and it'll actually download it, or it will not download the video, but it will download the details regarding the specific video and add it to my post. So if I hit post, I've put this on my personal wall, and everybody who's following me will get the same update. I can not only manage these updates from my newsfeed, but also from specific SharePoint sites. SkyDrive is a replacement for your My Documents folder. The My Documents folder, or your personal My Documents folder in the cloud, basically. From here on, I can manage my own personal documents, but I can also synchronize these documents with my personal computer. So I get an offline synchronization option. This offline synchronization option is SkyDrive Pro synchronization, which is being offered as part of the Office 2013 suite. So from here, I can view my different documents, and I can work with my documents in the browser. If I open a menu, for instance, of this PowerPoint presentation, it will open a preview of the presentation, so I will not need to open it, but can start reading right away. I can actually walk through the entire presentation, or Word document, or Excel document. If I hit it, if I click it, it will open the PowerPoint web app, and I can start working with this PowerPoint presentation right from my browser. So it will not ask me to download a version of the deck, but I can start working with PowerPoint right from the presentation. Over here, I can actually start editing.
Question over here.
Sorry.
One sec, go ahead. You could use RMS within SharePoint to encrypt those. They're all backed by your SSL login. So it's SharePoint. SkyDrive Pro is built into SharePoint. So from an admin perspective, you can lock it down, you can do records management on it, and you can also do RMS.
However, IRM is only included in the
Correct.
enterprise version, not in the small business version.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it as you get into the feature level, but from a core SkyDrive Pro, think of it as a SharePoint document library that you can put the security on it that you need. Small business doesn't have the deep level or IRM, so you would have to step into one of the enterprise plans to do that. So we're kind of showing all of these Office 365 features that all these features start with the small business. As you need more admin controls, that's where you step up the level from an enterprise perspective. So we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But these are all just Office 365, kind of what's new and how we're pushing out the service.
All right, I'll finish this up in a couple of seconds. So one of the great capabilities is use Office on Demand. Everybody who has an Office 365 version with Office included can use Office on Demand as well. So imagine you're in this internet cafe and you want to work on this really big Excel spreadsheet, and within this internet cafe there's no Excel version available to you. So you don't want to download a full version of Office and install it on the computer, but what you can do is you can start using Office on Demand. And it will actually give you a smaller version of Office on your computer, so you can work with Office, with the rich version of Excel, right from that computer in this internet cafe, wherever you are. As soon as you leave the internet cafe, or as soon as you close out the version of Office installed on that, or available on that specific computer, it will get rid of all the files and it will get rid of the entire Office version right from there. One of the great functionalities I like is that you're able actually to create a document right here from the browser. So the last thing I wanted to show you is the sites list. And the sites list basically is a starting point for all the sites in your organization. And I'll show a more filled in sites list a little bit later on. But every site that you're part of is actually being presented right here. So as soon as you're part of 100 or 200 sites, there's this list where you can select all the different sites out of. All right?
Yeah. So that, again, was kind of small business, but all these features are all part of Office 365. So when we think of how you move into the mid-sized businesses, you're gaining more control, you're adding flexibility from an Active Directory perspective. It still comes with Office. And he showed the Office on Demand. And again, you can install and license Office across 5 PCs or Macs. On Demand can be used on whatever machine you'd like to. It's not a license-taking piece. You simply use the application that you need. Maybe it's Word or Excel or PowerPoint. And when you close off of that, it's off of the machine. So we start to have all these new scenarios where, yes, you have Office on the desktop. We also do on demand. Or, as you saw, straight through the browser, the Office web app story has taken a huge leap forward in your ability to edit and do transitions and really have a great experience through the browser. So all of those pieces are in all of these plans as we move forward up the scale. What really starts to change is maybe archiving, some of the more in-depth like IRM, being able to manage a little bit deeper. So we're going to get into some of those scenarios, and he's logging in over here, so I'm going to give him a minute. But you see what we've added down on the list beyond the public website is you start to get the administration flexibility, Active Directory integration, whether it's ADFS or whether you're doing just simply directory sync or directory sync with passwords. You can push that up from your AD into Office 365 to help manage. And one of the features is site mailboxes that comes into play, which is really the integration point of Exchange and SharePoint, and allowing for some of those kind of what I would say public folder capabilities, but doing it with integration with SharePoint that allows you to really be collaborative from Outlook. So we're going to move into some of the more in-depth scenarios from the admin side as we go into the mid-sized business plan. And again, this is from 10 to 250. Or 300. It's a hard cap, but it's basically from that 10 user to 250. But you can get one user of midsize. You can get one user of enterprise. It really is how you feel like you need to have the service. You can go from an enterprise plan E3 or midsize and still get a single user or 5 users. It really is how you want to run your business. So we'll go into the next demo.
All right, so I've spared you the portal.microsoftonline.com login process, but as soon as I hit portal.microsoftonline.com and put in my username and password, I'll be taken over to this website, which is the administration portal, which is the same for midsize and enterprise. It's an administration portal which is much more focused towards a more advanced user or more advanced organization. Some organizations even choose not even to go into this portal, but give it over to a partner who can actually manage their entire environment. So from here on, I basically get introduced with the dashboard. And the dashboard, this is only being presented towards administrators within the organization. Your end users will not see this. They will get a simplified version, which will only allow them to download their software and start their services. From here on, I'll get an entire overview of my environment, and I can manage the different capabilities. First of all, I'll see my service health, and we've called up engineering, asked them to create a problem of one of their tenants, so we could display it to you.
It's a great example.
This is a good example, yes. So within SharePoint currently, there is a problem, and the problem has been solved, so it's in extended recovery. They're actually solving the problem right now. So as soon as you hit a problem with one of your services, you'll get all your information right here. Next to that, I'll see the different service requests which I've put in, either through phone or through the browser. And I get some basic reports. reports on the number of active users within my organization, the gigabytes used for email, the gigabytes used for all these other different services. From here on, I can start the setup. And one of the great things with the mid-size business plan and the enterprise plans is that I can connect the environment to my Active Directory, my local Active Directory. So there's basically 3 options for this. People can log in with their Microsoft Online IDs, which are the IDs created from the portal. The second option is the directory synchronization, which will actually takes over the users in your Active Directory, copy them over to Office 365, or copy their login names and their details over to Office 365, and you do the password management within Office 365. So those are separate accounts. An updated version of this directory synchronization has been introduced a couple of weeks ago, which actually syncs the password over as well. And the third option is ADFS, which is the most advanced option. With ADFS, people actually do not log in to Office 365, but they log in towards your local Active Directory. Office 365 does not manage any passwords at all. All passwords and all users are managed from your local Active Directory. So basically, those are the 3 different options. And with Extend Your Setup, you'll be run through all these different options, and you can choose which option fits your business the best or the closest, and you can start setting that up. With users and groups, you can manage your different users, domains, your domains, licensing, you can purchase licensing, service settings, you can manage all the different settings within your basic service environment. So from here on, I can go over to sites or link or software, etc., which is also available right from the admin link above, right above here. So if I go over to Exchange, I'll basically get the Outlook Management Agent. As soon as I've got a hybrid setup, I can manage Office 365 right from my local Exchange server as well. But from here, I can actually manage all the different capabilities in my or through my Exchange admin center of my Exchange environment.
So when I talked about control, I mean, this is really where it starts to become visible, where this Exchange admin center is the exact same way you would manage an Exchange on premises. Same functionality, same rules, same capability. So each of these are doing the same amount of control, whether you're online or on premises. And as Danny mentioned, if you are in a hybrid mode of your organization is on-prem and online, you could manage that directly from your on-prem server. So it's where we start to mix the capabilities and really see feature parity from the Exchange perspective.
Oh, absolutely. And you know the great thing is that it's all one unified environment basically. So right here I can go over and manage all the different capabilities. And I will not go into every capability right now because it basically will take me a couple of hours. But from here I can manage Exchange as I would do on-premise. If we go over to SharePoint, I'll get the SharePoint Admin Center. So the SharePoint Admin Center is not the same as central administration for a local SharePoint 2013 environment. The basic setup is the same and the basic capabilities are the same. However, a SharePoint local environment does give you the capability to manage more stuff like your databases and your locally installed software, etc. From here on, I can actually start different sites. I can manage site collections. I can manage external sharing. So, for instance, give users the capability or the possibility to log into my environment who are not part of my organization. I can manage info paths, the business connectivity services, which will allow me to read through either Windows Azure SQL databases or locally installed databases and consume this information right from my SharePoint environment. I can manage my term store, do record management, search, and I can manage my apps. A lot of SharePoint environments, which we work with at least, are really heavily customized SharePoint environments. And in a lot of organizations, all these customizations are being done through fully trusted code. So fully trusted code is not supported in Office 365. So in order to get customizations into Office 365, the recommended way is to use apps. And you can create apps yourself. You can also purchase apps from the SharePoint store where a lot of capabilities are basically offered for a specific amount of money or being offered for free, for instance. I'll show you how you can actually create an app yourself in a couple of minutes. And actually, I can actually manage my settings right here, my general settings as well. So I can either use the newsfeed, which I demoed a couple of minutes ago. I could also use Jammer as my social capability. As soon as I do this, my newsfeed will disappear, and a Jammer button will get in here, and I can actually use Jammer as my basic social engine. Right here, I can also manage external sharing, start a site, etc. The link capabilities are, the basic link settings which I can do from the portal, and I can manage how users can actually start working with their link environment. And these are the most important settings within the environment. So if I want to do a lot of management, I would probably not use the portal, but I would personally probably use PowerShell. So PowerShell is part of the administration options in the cloud. So I can actually work with my Windows Azure Active Directory, with my Link Online, my Exchange Online, and my SharePoint Online environment, and create subsites or create sites or create users or contacts or delete them or do whatever. So in order to demo that, I've started up the PowerShell UI, the PowerShell integrated scripting environment, to be honest. I've downloaded the different PowerShell components needed to manage my Windows Azure AD and my SharePoint Online environment. And for Exchange Online, actually remote PowerShell is used. So I log into the Exchange Online environment, and it will download all the PowerShell commands right for me. So right here, I've got a simple script which will automate some tasks. And in this case, it will create new users. Let me see. It downloads some information. It asks me for the URLs. It will log into the SharePoint Admin Center. It will create a couple of sites. From here on, it will create a couple of users. And from there on, it will create a couple of contacts. So in order to show you that I'm not kidding around, I'll go over to SharePoint, and I'll show you that only 5 sites have been created. And I'll go over to the contact list right here under... I'll go over to the users, and there's only one user in the environment. So I'll run this script, which is actually a pretty simple script. All right, let's run it. And I'll have to press enter a couple of times so I can stop with the script. Right now what it's doing is PowerShell is connecting over to SharePoint Online, which is one command. And within SharePoint Online, it will create a couple of sites for me, 5 sites to be exact. In order to create all these different sites, I've created a CSV file where all the different sites are being named. And from the CSV file, actually, all these sites are being created. So creating a SharePoint site actually takes about a minute and a half, depending on where you're from. So what I've done is I've put in a no-wait parameter. So it actually gives the command towards SharePoint Online that they should create the specific site and then continue on with creating the next site. Because I don't want to wait 5 times a minute. However, because the internet connection is pretty slow out here, it does take some time to put over all the commands into the SharePoint Online Administration Center. If you're on a quick if you're on a quick internet connection, it'll basically run through all the different commands in a couple of seconds. So it's created a site under marketing. It's creating a finance site and a customer site. And from there on, let me see, here's the command where it's actually creating all the different sites. It's reading the information from my CSV file. And from there on, I will go over and I will start creating the users in my organization. And I will hit the switch here and I will stop. I will stop the rest of the demo for PowerShell. It will take me too long, and we've only got 12 minutes left, if you don't mind me doing so. So if I go over to the SharePoint Online Management Portal, what you can actually see is that the different sites, the 5 sites which I've created a minute ago, are actually being created right now in my SharePoint Online portal. I can add users to my sites, manage the users or manage external users in my sites, etc. right?
So from a PowerShell perspective, I mean, it's just automating the things that you might have to click and work through the UI. And so as we move up the stack from an admin perspective, I guess the takeaway here is the PowerShell side of things is in place. You can manage Exchange, you can manage users, you can really work with PowerShell how you would on premises and do some of those automated tasks. Or if you had your own kind of intranet portal that maybe people added sites or added lists or even updated their passwords for your AD, you'd be able to kick into PowerShell and manage that from an automated side. So all those kind of cool end user features matched with a bunch of the admin side of things that really take it to the next level and give you the full control as you step through. So we went from small business to mid-size, and we showed you some of the kind of in-depth admin perspective. As we go to the enterprise plans, and I want to reiterate, you can get one seat of enterprise plans. It really is what kind of features are you looking for? Do you need archiving and compliance? Do you have a voicemail integration need from a business perspective? Are you looking to do retention hold, e-discovery, business intelligence? This steps you into the E plans, the enterprise plans. We really want to try to match the features and perspectives of each of our customers into a plan that works for them. So you'll see here that you have all of the features of M, plus you've added some archive, compliance, e-discovery, voicemail, and some of these advanced features that you can work through with the enterprise plans. So it just keeps stepping up from that perspective and adding more features. Things like unlimited mailboxes with archiving. That's a huge piece that we offer from the E plans. So we're going to get into a couple features like DLP, I think, and some of that side maybe, and show you some of, as we just build on top of the architecture, the top end of the enterprise plans here. Oh, there you go.
No worries. All right, so the administration portal for the enterprise plan and the mid-size plan is basically the same. It's the same portal being introduced towards your administrators. However, some additional capabilities are added. And these additional capabilities really are enterprise capabilities like, as you mentioned, the data loss protection functionality or IRMing, so securing your specific documents through encryption. So you can manage all these different settings right from your portal. And to show you that this is an E3 portal, basically I went over to licensing and I've selected Office 365 Enterprise E3 Trial, which is bound to expire in a couple of days, which is my trial environment which I'm using for this demo. So I can manage my users through the users and group option right from here. I can have them provisioned from my Active Directory. I can have ADFS to sign in my specific users. However, typically a DearSync user or an administration user will be on the surface the entire time. So let's say that you are an organization with a really strict security policy and you want everybody to have two-factor authentication. You've created two-factor authentication in your local on-premise environment. Right now, what you're able to do, and it's actually in a test situation right now, is you are able to set up two-factor authentication in your Office 365 environment right from the browser as well. So in order to do that, I went over to my online Active Directory, which is basically activedirectory.windowsazure.com, where I can manage all the different Active Directory settings. I can manage all my different users right from here. But I can also manage my multi-factor authentication, as it says right here. I'll click Manage. And I can manage multi-factor authentication for the administrators in my organization at this point. The administrators in your organization, the global administrators in your organization, are the people who manage your environment, so who have access to all the different capabilities. So right here, I've got 3 administrators in my environment, and let's say I want to set up Sarah Davis with the administrative capabilities. I'll select her. I'll select her, and I'll set her up for two-factor authentication. And basically, these are the only steps needed to set up two-factor authentication. So it's click, 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 and you're done. So right now, the first time Sarah Davis logs in, and because I've only got 6 minutes left, I will not go there. As soon as Sarah Davis logs in, she'll be asked a couple of security questions. She'll need to specify her mobile number or her desk phone number. She can download an app. And from there on, she can start working with two-factor authentication. Remember, she will not be able to use her password, solely her password anymore. So if you're the only administrator in your organization, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, you will not be able to get into your service environment anymore. All right. So Sarah Davis has been set up with the environment. So if there's any questions around this, I suggest that you come over and ask them a little bit later on. So from the same environment, I can actually start managing other capabilities as well. One of those capabilities is IRM. So I'll go over to the Windows Azure Active Directory. And I can set up my IRM settings. So information rights management encrypts documents with 265-bit encryption, but they're not only encrypted in the cloud, they're also encrypted when you download them towards your own personal computer. So as soon as you download a document from a SharePoint site, which is an IRM protected SharePoint site, you will always need to use your username and password, your Office 365 username and password, to actually log into this specific document. As soon as somebody leaves the company and took a USB drive with hundreds or thousands or millions of documents on that USB drive, they will not be able to log into these documents or open these documents anymore because you've disabled their Windows Azure Active Directory account or your local on-premise Active Directory account. So they will not be able to work with these documents anymore. So setting up IRM in an on-premise environment is kind of tricky. You know, it takes 25 to 75 days. It needs a couple of servers, and you need to work through your PKI infrastructure, etc. In order to set up IRM for Office 365, basically you'll go to your Windows Azure Active Directory, hit the Rights Management switch, click Manage, and from here on you can turn IRM on or off. That's it. As soon as you hit the On button, Activate button, I've already activated it for this tenant, Rights Management will be activated for my Office 365 environment. Next to that, I'll need to go into the specific services where I want to use IRM. So for instance, SharePoint Online. I'll go into Settings. And right here is my IRM button or my IRM switch. I specify that I want to use IRM services. I've refreshed the services. And right now, IRM is configured for my SharePoint Online environment. The same goes for your Exchange Online environment. From here on, let's say I'll go over to a specific site, and I've created this really confidential site. Where is it? Really confidential site. And in this really confidential site, I want to store my really confidential documents. So I've put in 4 documents right here. As soon as I want to manage this specific document library, I can set up my IRM settings for this specific SharePoint document library with these specific documents. So I'll open up the document library. I'll go into the library settings. And right now, a new option is being introduced to me, which is called, here you are, Information Rights Management. When I click Information Rights Management, I'll be able to set up the IRM settings for this specific SharePoint Online document library. So over here, I can restrict the permissions on this library to download. The policy is really confidential. Show the options. And right here, I can specify all the different options connected to this SharePoint Online site. So we've got 2 minutes left, and I wanted to show you a lot of other different things. However,
this is good stuff, though. Yeah.
It's good stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So as well as IRM, you have DLP, the advanced settings within Exchange, to basically read the subject line or something that's in an email with any kind of regex that you want to put in, Social Security, information about healthcare, and Exchange will automatically encrypt or stop that from going outside of the organization. So there are many ways to
got an
secure.
email set up right here.
Yeah, there you go. So here's a incident report that's talking about probably how many of these actually went through. The rule detected is outside the organization, and you can stop that or create an action for that. So when we talk about security, it's not just our kind of baseline, how we run our data centers, where we're certified, and how we've augmented on that side, but it's also giving you the control so that if you have specific business requirements on IRM, on going through encryption, on having mails that are blocked from going outside the organization, you can put those in place and make the service yours based on your business. So yeah, we only do have a couple more minutes, so I'm just going to switch over. But I wanted to kind of round out some of the details of SKUs and why we have SKUs and what comes of them. You can't purchase a P or small business and transition it to a mid-size, and you can't purchase mid-size and transition it to an enterprise. So you kind of need to make these choices up front based on your business and capabilities, because there's not a transition between those environments. So it's just a key point that we always want to make sure people understand. When you look at mid-size, I'll get to you in 1 second. When you look at mid-size, mid-size SKU is the package of Office and Exchange and all these features, and you can't really mix and match or add things like archiving to M. So if archiving or bigger mailbox from an unlimited perspective or some of the voicemail features are things that you need, you just need to look at the E SKU, the E plans for moving forward. And if you have an E-plan, you can buy more SharePoint storage, you can get the unlimited archiving, you can add things to those E-plans. So they're a little more flexible from the E-plan perspective. So as you're looking across the board here for what makes sense in your business, from an enterprise plan, that's what we see a ton of our customers going towards, because it's a little more flexible from the admin side and also from the feature perspective. Question in the back? Yes. So over here on the right, you can start with a single workload. So if Exchange is your kind of first step into the cloud, start with Exchange. At any time, you can add SharePoint, you can add Link, you can add E1 or E2 or E3 or whatever it is with no disruption. Or if you are looking at a kind of first entrance from an E1 perspective that does not include the full version of Office, you can go from E1 to E3 within your environment with no disruption whatsoever. So you can really pick the plans from an enterprise perspective. And I had to put a matrix up because I'm Microsoft and I like putting a bunch of stuff on a slide. But you can, I wanted to show like E1, E3, and then our kiosk plan, you can mix and match across your organization what makes sense. Do some people need the full capabilities of Office and creation? Some people are more of the consumers of Office and they do web apps, or they have a lighter load from a mailbox perspective. You can choose the E plans, E1 and 3, and any of the mix within those plans for your entire environment and really match it up to what your business needs. From an EDU perspective, you can mix and match from the A SKU. And then I also wanted to highlight that these are all standalone services. So Office 365 is the umbrella. We have plans that we really try to fit for the needs. But if you were simply looking at Link and Exchange, you can go just directly to Link Plan 2 or Link Plan 1, Exchange Plan 1. So there's a ton of options, and we do that not to be painful for people reading our website, but to really give an opportunity for you to mix and match and fit it to the right end user. So this is the all-up kind of deck and SKUs. And the next question we always get is, how do we start this? Danny just did all of those demos on trial environments. Trial environments are free to use. They're 30 days. The trial environment that you get for enterprise is that full version of E3. And we have a methodology that we've put in place called Fast Track. and it's fasttrack.office.com, which tries to help you walk through how do you pilot this. All the things that you're going to see over the next 3 days of all these new Office features and capabilities. Where do you start? How do you move forward? We call that Fast Track, and it really is about working through the pilot, showing people kind of what's going on, and then working through the deployment scenarios. So we are at time, but I wanted to say from a resources perspective, you can grab this deck, and these are all the sessions we have over the next 3 days that are Office 365 specific. They're in this room, so you could just sit here for the next 3 days and just really enjoy yourself. Or there's also next door with a lot of exchange information. So go for it.